Yo, what is up guys? Smith Kamaka with a new video again. I hope you guys are having a good time. So, you want to build some muscles without gaining some fat? Well, can you do it? The answer is pretty simple. You cannot build some muscle without gaining some fat. Yes, you can minimize the fat which you can put on, but you cannot entirely just build muscle without gaining some fat. Yes, there are two exceptions where you can just build muscle without gaining fat. The two exceptions are, one, if you are a beginner, and two, if you're onto something. So how can we minimize our fat gain in bulking? Well, let me tell you everything into detail. The concept is called as lean bulking. So what do you do in lean bulking? I'll tell you each and everything into much detail. But before that, let me tell you why you should do lean bulking and not dirty bulking. In dirty bulking, you tend to eat each and everything which comes in your way. Be it a burger, fries, chips and any kind of sugar. In the meantime, you're gaining a lot of fat which is not necessary for your body and your body fat is growing up unnecessarily. So tell me, do you prefer cutting from 15% to 10% in the span of 8 to 10 weeks, or do you prefer cutting from 25% to 10% in the span of 6 to 8 months? So why should you lean bulk? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Basically, to bulk, you have to stay in a caloric surplus, and rather than eating unnecessary food which is not healthy for your body, you're eating clean foods which will make a massive difference to your body. Any which ways, you're not going to gain more than 6 to 8 pounds, or in some cases 1 to 2 pounds of weight if you're an experienced lifter in a year. So I'm going to divide this entire concept into 4 parts: your caloric intake, your protein intake, your fat intake and your carb intake, and I'm going to explain each and everything in detail what you should do. So let's begin. So let's talk about caloric intake first. In bulking, you tend to eat a lot of calories unnecessarily. But in lean bulking, I'll suggest you all to up your caloric intake by 300 to 400 calories max above your maintenance level. That's it. You will slowly gain muscle, but there won't be excess energy which will be stored in your body. There are many ways to calculate your maintenance calories. You can go on net and check it out. My personal favorite is calculating your TDE. You get 4 calories from 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbs. You get 9 calories from 1 gram of fat and 7 calories from 1 gram of alcohol. So let's talk about the second part of the topic, which is protein intake. A lot of fitness gurus will tell you to eat a lot of protein, maintain a high protein diet, but trust me guys, you don't need that much amount of protein what they tell you. So what's the magical number? Basically it is 0.8 grams to 1 gram times your body weight in pounds. I generally go for 0.8 grams, and 1 gram should be taken by those people who have a very low body fat percentage and high muscle mass. Let's take an example for it. My current weight is around 73 kgs, which is around 160 pounds if you convert it. So I'll be needing around max 130 grams of protein per day. So let's talk about your fat intake now. Your fat intake should be low because the higher your fat you intake, the more likely you are to store it, because the main source of energy is from carbs. I would say your fat intake should be between 25% to 30% of your daily caloric intake. So let's take an example for it. Let's take an hypothetical situation. If my daily caloric intake is around 2000 calories and I usually take 25% of my calories from fat, so that would be around 500 calories from fat, which is equivalent to 55 grams of fat in a day. So let's talk about the final thing, which is your carb intake. Since you have the numbers of your protein intake and your fat intake, you have to just do some minor calculations and get your carb intake number. It's very simple. I'll show you how it is done. Take an hypothetical situation of 2000 calories. 500 calories is from fat. If your daily protein intake is around 128 grams, 512 calories would be from protein. And if you do the math, 988 calories would be remaining, which is around 247 grams of carbs. So this is how you calculate carbs in your diet. The most important thing is to choose your carb sources too. I would suggest you to have at least 1 serving of fruit in a day and at least 2 to 3 servings of salads and veggies to fulfill your micronutrient goals too. So the important things which you need to know is 90% of your caloric intake should be clean, and even if 10% of your caloric intake is dirty, it's completely fine. Concentrate on your whole foods rather than concentrating on processed foods. Eat your veggies and calculate everything what you eat. So who should follow this approach? First one, if you are planning to bulk, at least for more than 6 months, because this is a very slow process. You build muscle very slowly, and if you're looking to bulk for at least 3 months and then go for a cut, it is not suitable for you. And secondly, those who have at least 2 years of lifting experience. So that's it for the topic of lean bulking. I know it is a bit tough topic and many of you guys will have some queries. If you have any queries or if you want to know anything apart from this topic too, you can hit me up on Instagram, Facebook and Snapchat. Link will be given in the description. Consider me as a family. I consider you guys as my family as well. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.